I've had some requests to shoot some of my elephant ears that I've been growing here down in Houston. And this is really, I've grown them before. I grew them in Oregon, but I really had a hard time with them because the fact that there was no rain in summer and there was no humidity, they struggled. Well, we're doing okay here. So, Jim, this one's for you. We're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I bought a variety of colocasias, a couple alocasias. I bought some in the probably March time frame, and most of those, or all of those, have made it into the ground. I ordered a second set, which is kind of what you're looking at here, and these have really struggled. Now, I don't know if it's just because I got them when it was hot, whereas the other ones showed up when it was cooler, and they were able to do that. But I've really struggled with this second batch. Different vendor, though. It's alive. Blue Hawaii. It throws up one or two leaves and then dies back to the ground. I've been had the pot sitting in water. I have had it in the shade here, and I just can't seem to get that one going. Mojito, pretty common one. These get to actually a pretty decent size. You can see this one's starting to go. Believe it or not, I have not seen these for sale. The elephant ear selection, colocasia, alocasia selection in my local nurseries, and it's really hit and miss. There's a couple that have a better selection, but some of these ones I've bought I have not seen for sale. So Mojito, it's kind of a good old classic one. This one is really starting to turn into something. So when I ordered my second batch, they didn't label the plants. And I ordered 3 black varieties. So it's been kind of tough to tell. I believe this is the Sapphire Gecko. I think it's I don't know if it's the black or the blue, but it has an amazing sort of iridescence to it that's starting to show up, and you can see it. It's definitely more purpley. So that one I'm quite happy with. It's got a nice stem color on it. The next one is Hilo Beauty, which I've read is not necessarily a colocasia, but it's I can't think of the word right now. I have some up front, but not a colocasia or alocasia. But shoot, let me think about this. Okay, it's a caladium. That's the word I was thinking of. So this one's called Hilo Beauty, and just has a kind of an interesting spotted pattern. That one's starting to go now. Took a little while. This is one I did not order. This was supposed to be like Coal Miner or Black Beauty, something along those lines. So I contacted the vendor, sent them pictures, and they said, "Oh, yeah, they are what they're supposed to be." Clearly, this is not a black elephant ear, so I think that this is El Payo. That vendor that I bought from does actually sell these, so you can tell me what you think. So these ones are maybe about 3 months old, and then the next one would be one of my personal favorites. This is an alocasia. This is the Stingray. Really cool, you know, when you look at it, there's the Stingray tail and here are the wings. So one of my favorites, the grocery store here, H-E-B, they were selling massive ones. They were about $50, very tempting. But I started out with the small one. So all of these came as tiny little plugs, and just slowly growing them on, trying not to cook them. And the Stingray has a real interesting kind of like snake-like pattern. And the ones that I saw of these were about 4 feet tall. Absolutely massive specimens, but I'm just going to work with my little guys. So I did actually get another one this week. There's really nothing to show. It's just green leaves, but I did get the red Pharaoh's mask. So the red Pharaoh's mask, if you've ever seen the regular Pharaoh's mask, it's the same, except that instead of that kind of like ribbing that's like a dark purpley black, it's red. I think they were new this year, really expensive, but I was able to find one for a reasonable price. So These all came from the second vendor I dealt with, and this is as far as they've gotten. So let's go and look at the ones I got from the first batch, which are definitely doing a lot better. We may as well start here. I mean, these are the showstoppers. So these are Royal Hawaiian Waikiki, and they started out with just 1 or 2 leaves, just tiny little things, and these things have exploded. They have done really well. What's interesting is I've noticed there is, like, all 3 of these plants are not the same. The one on the left here tends to produce a lot more pink, this sort of pink and whitish or pale yellowish. This is, I think, more along the lines of what you would expect to see, whereas these ones over here are definitely showing less pink, more of the white. Now, that's south facing, so these ones get blasted a little bit more. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but look at the color. So they're getting pretty nice, 3 feet or so. And look at all of the pups. I'm set for life. Honestly, I did not expect them to get that big this year. If you saw them when I put them in, it was pathetic. And I think I actually put them in right before the hurricane, and they were laying sideways. But they survived. They are flowering. All of these colocasias and alocasias are hardy for me in my zone. I'm in zone 9B. Many of these are zone 7. Most of them are zone 8. If you're in zone 8, you should be okay. You know, you just don't want them to get too wet in the winter. So let's go look at some of the other big ones. These ones are doing really well because they get afternoon shade. This gazebo here takes the brunt of the worst sun. So you'll see some of my other ones don't look as good, but these definitely are the best I've had so far. Oh, Jack's Giant. So what can I say about Jack's Giant? Man, these things grow fast. I just bought bulbs. I bought 3 bulbs, stuck them in the ground, and these things came up in a hurry. They have been busy flowering for the longest time. So they've just started putting out some new leaves again. You can see that they do have a bit of burning. The last month, August, was brutal. We were around 100 degrees every day, and we didn't get rain. It was the longest stretch we went without rain. I think I went just about 4 weeks. It hurt them. The house does provide afternoon shade again, but still, I had to keep up on the watering on these, but still nice plant. I expect next year they'll probably get a whole lot bigger. I think I measured leaves earlier, and I think it's about 30 inches. So not giant yet, but again, it's only the first year in the ground, and they've been so busy flowering. You can see one bulb produced many plants and quite large. I do have a couple more that I've put around. There's one over here, it was struggling, but now that this ice cream banana or blue java has gotten big, it's helping to give it a little bit of shade. This one I don't water as much because it's near the gutter, so it picks up a little extra water, but as you can see, the leaves definitely aren't as big. It seems to be more interested in sending up offshoots or offsets. Here's the really sad bed of colocasia. I thought that they would get some shade, and they actually get the hottest sun of the day. So let's look at this first one. This was much bigger. This is a tropical storm. Never really looked like the pictures. It did get some of the white in it, but the heat just fried this thing to the ground. Had some cooler weather and some rain, so it's making a comeback. What I didn't realize was this is actually a small colocasia. It only grows about 18 inches tall, and it just kind of forms a clump. So that one's likely to be moved. Here's a very sad looking Jack's Giant. Burnt, as you can see, but coming back. And then this one was kind of a neat one. This one is called Nancy's Revenge. This was a tiny, tiny, tiny little plug. And it got about as tall as the Jack's Giant. So it's 4 feet tall. You can see it does have the white with the pink eye. Just starting to recover. This one, another one that was busy flowering for quite a while. And this one kind of throws out these tendrils. So I know this was a big deal when it came out way back when. It was one of the more exciting ones, and maybe they've used this to hybridize, but you can see the leaves were, there's right here, they were getting quite big. So a little bit more shade here. Hopefully, you know, some of my palms and things will give it a little bit more shade next year. I'm gonna try and leave this one here. So that is Nancy's Revenge. Well, I forgot one. This is my black one of these black ones that I bought. A name. They come out really nice velvety black, but my issue with this is I have a lot of insect damage, as you can see. So the new leaves come out this beautiful velvety rich black color, and then they kind of fade to this green, but really cool. They're not, this one's not that big. This is actually from the second vendor. This is the biggest one of the bunch, so I put it in the ground, and unfortunately the bugs really seem to like it. There you go. I don't know if that's Coal Miner, Black Beauty. There was one other one. Anyway, there you go. Okay. The very first ones I planted, these are Alocasia, and this one was sold as Calidora. Just bought it at Lowe's. And what I can say, you know, because these are Alocasia, they have the more upright growth where the leaves face up, and it has to do with the attachment point where things attach. But very thick leathery leaf on these, and really good at taking the sun. I'll be honest with you, I rarely water these, and they seem to take it. Now in that real heat, I'd see some yellowing on some old leaves and stuff, but for the most part, very surprising how much sun and dryness they can handle. Although we did have a lot of rain. I mean, July, I think we had 10 or 11 inches. August, none. But they survived through August. So these ones flower sporadically, but not quite the same, but really huge clumps. If you'd seen them, they might have been a 3-gallon pot. Definitely a lot bigger than I was expecting. So better for a sunnier spot. So that's kind of what I've learned. With the Colocasias, you definitely want to keep them watered. Believe it or not, I think I've only fertilized once. I've just let them go with what's in my soil, and they seem to have done okay. Now, maybe if I had fertilized, I would have got a lot more growth, but I've been real busy. So as long as you know, when they're looking a little sad, give them some water, they're going to do okay. That's what I've grown this year. I'm not going to buy any more because I have no shade. And until I start to develop more shade, I've kind of run out of spots. So next area right here. So we may be able to slip some in. There you are, guys. That's the Colocasia Alocasia collection.